Senators are back in Washington working on the Republican plan to repeal and replace Obamacare. The president tweeted this morning, "I cannot imagine that Congress would dare to leave Washington without a beautiful new health care bill fully approved and ready to go."
Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has worked to try and attract the 50 votes he needs. Some Republicans, including Arizona Senator John McCain, think the bill is in trouble.
My view is it's probably going to be dead, but I've been wrong. I thought I'd be president of the United States, but I think I fear that it's going to fail.
McCain says working with Democrats could increase support.
CBS News contributor Ed O'Keefe is a congressional reporter for The Washington Post. Good morning,
Good
Ed.
to see you all. You're all back.
Yes.
We're all back.
I mean,
Did you have a good vacation?
I did.
Yeah? You guys were here last week a little bit.
we were here part of the week last week.
Yes, we were here.
Yeah. I saw you.
Part of the week.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Congress and
Right.
vacation.
They're back.
Is it possible that they could leave for the August recess without getting anything done, including health care?
Yep. Believe it or not. And that's why the president's tweet this morning is quite on point, because I think most Americans would be thinking this morning, how is it possible that they could leave without doing it?
And in fact, while they were gone last week on this July 4th recess, a number of these Republican senators heard from their constituents, and it's making this repeal and replace even harder.
Even more difficult. You now have as many as 10 Republican senators saying they've got issues with it, they got concerns they can't support it.
So therefore, how likely is it that McConnell will turn to the Democrats?
Well, it's becoming increasingly likely that that could happen. I think we're looking at about another week's worth of work among Republicans to try to come up with a plan. They're waiting for the latest scorekeeping report to come in from the Congressional Budget Office, which might come about Friday. In the meantime, he's got to work with these Republicans to see if there's any other possible way to get 50 of them to hold together on a plan. Ted Cruz has some ideas that are much more conservative, that upsets the moderates, and some others in the middle. And if he can somehow pull a rabbit out of a hat and make it happen this week, that may be the path
They're worried
forward.
about what it does to pre-existing conditions.
To pre-existing conditions and just to the marketplace in general. But what McConnell said last week is, if we can't do it, we've got to shore up the status quo and work with Democrats on that. And the Democratic requests then are, you leave Medicaid alone, don't do what you're trying to do right now, and you just, shore up what's there, essentially, and try to fix it, not wholesale replace it.
The Republicans have a pretty long to-do list at this point, and the polls seem to show that the American people are blaming Congress, not the president, for the problem of getting this health care through.
That's right. We were just talking about this, Gayle. The wish list is about to get scratched for the to-do list, because there are so many things. Well, there's so many things they have to do before the end of September in order to keep the government and the country running. They got to pass a budget. They're going to have to sort out when to raise the debt limit. There's a host of federal programs that have to be reauthorized, like the FAA, the National Flood Insurance Program. A veterans health care plan needs some money. A children's health insurance program needs to be reauthorized. All that, plus they got to come up with a spending plan by the end of the fiscal year on September 30th. So all those things eat up time. That plus confirming judges, confirming those undersecretaries and ambassadors and other folks that the president is confirming. And you've only got 3 weeks between now and the end of the month when they take a 5-week break. They come back after Labor Day, and they've only got a few more weeks.
You think they'll really get that break this time with so much on the table?
The way they stick around is if the Senate gets something done on health care in the next 3 weeks, and the House goes, why wouldn't we stick around a few extra days to get it done and deliver the president a health care bill?
Ben Sasse has recommended that.
Yeah. Ben Sasse and several other members of the House as well.
President Trump had promised an infrastructure bill. Did that ever show up?
No. Having endured LaGuardia last night, I think myself and many other people in this country would have liked to see that happen first. But no, and that's the real disappointment for a lot of people in Washington, is that, that would have been a very smart way to start. Everyone agrees that the roads, the bridges, and those godforsaken airports need help, need to be rebuilt, need money spent on them, and they would create jobs. But
and it was the one thing most likely to generate Democratic.
Absolutely, yes. They were ready to go with that, and are still eager to work with him on it.
Well, both sides say they want the bill. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see.
The clock is ticking. Thank you, Ed O'Keefe.
Good to see you guys.
Always good to see you at the table.